Pulsatilla is a very... Okay, so Pulsatilla is a very common homeopathy used in lots of cases in pregnancy for lots of different things. So Pulsatilla, it's used for anemia, so your breath will be smelly. It's also used for measles, like getting wet, getting feet wet, weaning. It's also used for discharge. So if you're having any kind of like vaginal discharge that's yellow and mucousy, Pulsatilla is really good for that. But as long as it's bland. So if it's yellow and it smells really bad, that's a whole other thing unto itself. With Pulsatilla, if you're having a lot of bland discharge, that's what Pulsatilla is good for. We all know that that's very... but when you're dealing with someone who is like a Pulsatilla, they will feel much better if they have a bath or if they smell fresh air. Pulsatillas don't like to be stuffy. They like, it's like putting together a puzzle. So if you have the yellow discharge that is very bland and you're finding yourself feeling very confined and like sweaty, and you feel much better after you have a bath, like you'll feel much fresher. And you'll also feel fresher if you just go out in the fresh air. Also, you don't want to drink anything. So if you have a client or you yourself you have all these pieces of the puzzle. These types are gentle, yielding, mild, easy move to laughter or tears, highly emotional, and easy to cry. So what I'm reading is from this book, Homeopathy for Pregnancy by Miranda Castro. So these are her words. They are clingy and dependent, particularly when sick. When they also become irritable and whiny and feel hard done by, especially useful for babies, as so many of them go through a Pulsatilla phase, weepy, clingy, whiny, and wanting to be carried. So this happens a lot with Pulsatilla babies. So not all babies are going to be Pulsatilla, although they show a lot of signs of this. But one thing you can tell by a Pulsatilla baby is that their nose runs. But it's not that acid running. Like, you know when you see a baby and its nose runs and there'll be like red underneath it? That is not Pulsatilla. A Pulsatilla baby will have a runny nose, but it's not acidic. It's just, you know that type of baby where you just constantly have to wipe their nose? That is actually a sign of Pulsatilla. Like, they need Pulsatilla. Pulsatillas are affectionate creatures who love animals and cannot bear to see them hurt. They too are easily hurt by many suppress it and become introverted, moody, even irritable. Depression, even postnatal, will be better for fresh air and worse during the evening and in warm, stuffy rooms. So really, if you're dealing with a woman who's postpartum and she has these signs, it's nice to have, a fresh... At nighttime, it's going to get worse. And so it's nice to have a nice open, airy room for her. Or tell her partner to make sure the room is always nice and fresh. It's nice to have, a fresh... At nighttime, it's going to get worse. And so it's nice to have a nice open, airy room for her. Or tell her partner to make sure the room is always nice and fresh. Open the window for a little bit before she goes to bed. A breastfeeding mother may weep while nursing. Generally, these types moan and weep during fever and cry when talking about their illness. They crave sympathy, which makes them feel better. So if you're sympathetic towards them, it makes them feel better. So if you're noticing that you have a postpartum mom who is just really seeking that sympathy, she may be Pulsatilla if she fits the other pieces of the puzzle. So this is what I was talking about with the nasal, with having a baby. You can see that it has like green yellowish discharge, but not irritating. Yes, it's good for earaches, especially if it's smelly, thick, yellow, green ear external in here. It gets worse at night and often comes after a cold. Pulsatilla is actually good for nervousness, so worse from the heat of the sun, a stuffing room, like I was saying. Loss of sleep can be a cause of this nervousness. Eye inflammation, it's really good for babies. So if you notice that your baby's eyes are kind of all gunky during the evening, then just wipe them out and they could be Pulsatilla. Let's see here. What else is Pulsatilla? Headaches, insomnia, joint pains. It feels better when you put cold on it, but worse when you put hot on it. For labor, it's good for back pain. Like, it's really good for if someone has, like, if the baby is OP, which means that the back of the head is actually facing, like, it's faced this way instead of facing this way. Sometimes people have a lot of back labor and it's really sore. And if they have irregular short contractions. So when someone's having irregular short contractions, it's really nice to get the uterus kind of just acting together. But remember that it's like a puzzle. So just because someone's having short, irregular contractions does not mean they need Pulsatilla, unless they have the other indications, like they don't want to drink anything, or they feel very stuffy and very confined, or they feel better when you open a window. So just remember that it's all part of a bigger picture.